95% of who we are is in the subconscious. We don't realize the thoughts and feelings that are there, but they influence our lives profoundly. The thoughts, experiences, and feelings create subtle, positive feelings, including love, healing, and peace. And they create negative experiences, such as fear and foreboding. We most often don't realize why we're having the feelings and why we keep re-experiencing disturbing memories. Our subconscious operates without our conscious mind's control. We're learning today that these subconscious thoughts and feelings influence our reality. As remarkable as it may sound, research is showing that our attitudes and our thoughts actually change the world. In this video, I describe the findings of research showing that what we think and feel is affecting the very composition of the world around us. Hello, I'm Dr. R. Craig Hogan, President of the Afterlife Research and Education Institute and Seek Reality Online. I'm the author of 8 books with the evidence you will come to the end of this life, but you will never die. Our minds are influencing the world we live in. That may seem preposterous to say, but researchers are advancing findings that prove our minds influence reality. One example of these subtle experiences comes from work by William A. Tiller, Ph.D., Stanford University Professor Emeritus in Physics. Tiller performed experiments to discover whether conscious intention influences the earth realm. In carefully controlled experiments, people were asked to focus on specific things, trying to influence their composition. The results have been remarkable. These are some of the things people's minds were able to influence. People caused the acidity of pH of water to intentionally raise or lower by 1 pH unit. Control water left alone had no change in acidity. People focusing positive thoughts on a human liver enzyme caused it to increase by 15 to 30%. Control flasks of enzymes showed no change during the same period. People intending for fly larvae to grow increased the larval growth rate by 25% over the control group that had no positive intentions directed at them. The results were highly significant. The possibility of occurrence by chance was less than 1 in 1,000. Tiller's experiments had one other finding that showed how we are creating subtle positive influences. The spaces in which the experiments were conducted seemed to become increasingly conducive to experiencing the positive experiences the more they were being used. Over time, as positive thoughts were directed at things in the spaces became more conducive to healing. Healing gradually happened more quickly and more strongly in the spaces where people were focusing healing thoughts. Even when no people were involved in the experiments, just magnets, the spaces grew to be more conducive to having positive effects. As Tiller put it, in those spaces the laws of physics no longer seem to apply. Anyone having experiences in those spaces will experience the feeling of the positive nature of the space. We can imagine that having a personal physician who is loving and caring will have a more positive influence on our health than a physician who is caustic and uncaring. Other researchers experimenting in different mediums found the same thing. Positive thoughts create positive outcomes in the world. Dean Radin, senior scientist at the Institute of Noetic Sciences, and Ryan Taft and Garrett Yount of the California Pacific Medical Research Institute conducted studies whose results were published in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine. In this study, the experimenters placed flasks of living central nervous system cells into a chamber over a period of 3 days. They also placed a random number generator in the space to see whether healing intentions would influence the numbers it produced. In shifts over 3 days, spiritual healers continually focused on the brain cells and the random number generator in the healing space chamber, intending to have more brain cells grow more strongly and intending to give the numbers produced by the random number generator produced numbers that weren't random, showing that they were being influenced. On the first day of the experiment, there was negligible growth of the cells and negligible change in the random number generator outputs. On the second day, there was more notable growth of the cells and more notable changes in random number generator outputs. On the third day, the improvement in the cells was most pronounced, and the output of the random number generators was most notable. As the experiment progressed and the spiritual practitioners repeatedly focused healing energy on the chamber, the cells grew more strongly with each day that passed, and more ordered numbers came from the random number generators over time. It showed that the experience of having the spiritual healers focus healing attentions in the healing space changed the space. So over repeated healing sessions, it became more conducive to healing. Loving, caring, and healing feelings and intentions affect people's well-being as a remarkable added benefit. They create a world that is itself more loving, caring, and healing. Loving, caring, and healing feelings and intentions influence the reality we're creating together. Another example of subtle positive experiences of loving, caring, and healing is the Maharishi effect. Large groups of people were engaged in the Advanced Transcendental Meditation program. During the period from 2007 to 2010, they regularly sat in meditation, directing positive energy to the U.S. cities that they were located on. The result was that during the time they were meditating with positive thoughts, there was a drop in the homicide rate of 21.2%. A rising trend of United States homicides during the 2002-2006 baseline period was reversed during the 2007 to 2010 period of the study. The decrease in violent crime was 18.5% for the sample of 206 urban areas nationwide, with populations over 100,000. The same type of study was performed in Washington, D.C. in 1993. During the time when 4,000 people meditated together, violent crime in Washington, D.C. declined 23%. Crime rates had been increasing before the study and continued to increase after the study. The results were shown not to be due to other variables such as weather, the police, or anti-crime campaigns. An independent review board participated in the study design and monitored its conduct. The board certified that the positive outcomes occurred during the time the 4,000 people were meditating. A similar effect was shown in a study of 24 U.S. cities, in which 1% of the urban population regularly practiced transcendental meditation. On average, the 24 cities saw drops of 22% in crime and 89% in the crime trend. The statistics were compared to other cities not part of the study that were found to have no positive changes during the same time. Another study was performed in Israel using a transcendental meditation group. During a 2-month period in 1983 in Israel, on days when a large group of meditators focused on peace and well-being of the area, independently published data showed that war-related deaths in Lebanon dropped 76%, and conflict, traffic fatalities, fires, and crime decreased. The national mood became more positive, and the stock market increased. We're influenced by the experiences at deep levels. The subconscious experiences come without our intent or detection. Our loving, peaceful acts and gestures affect the subconscious experiences being accessed by people around us without their knowledge of the effects. Our loving, compassionate thoughts influence the world around us.